Hey Flosstube, this is Tara with Wilder Woman Crafts, and I have returned at the 2-week mark. And honestly, I feel like I'm kind of sold on this because at least right now, I feel like there's plenty to update at 2-week intervals. So now I'm kind of like, how did I do month updates? But anyway, hope you have all been well. It has been pretty relaxed around here. So we'll get into some life updates later, but I got an update from work recently that is not my favorite news, but we will get there eventually. So yeah, today I have several finishes, small finishes, some fully finishes that are also pretty small, nothing like Dark Queen, but yeah, several starts and finishes, a couple of works in progress. And then, yeah, we got some plans and giveaway stuff, which I'll just right off the top here, we can start with giveaway stuff. I had in my mind that I was like, oh, ever since, what is it, like the YouTube random comment picker started, it doesn't do like keyword search anymore. You have to pay for a premium service. I was like, ugh, well, maybe I should do the tiny decisions wheel because I've seen some people do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. We'll do that. And then I can show it. I record on my phone. I don't know what I was thinking. I do record on my phone. So I actually just screen recorded. I sat here and just screen recorded it real quick. So I will put it up, but the winner of the 2024 Nashville Needlework Cookbook is the Corpus Christi Stitcher. I think that's her name. I'm not sure. Corpus Christi something Stitcher maybe. But congrats. I will comment on your comment on the last video. And if you can reach out to me on Instagram at the same handle as my YouTube, wildawoman_crafts, or reply to that comment and let me know if you don't have an Instagram and we'll work it out. But thank you to everyone for all your exciting comments and your cookbook recommendations. I am excited to check some of those out. Yeah, and it sounds like all of us need to get together and have a cookbook party. Everyone's sold, so I'm sold. But anyway, okay, so now that's out of the way, let's get into my fully finishes for the month. So Whip Go for me, which is hosted by Jessie Marie Does Stuff on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I'm sure you've heard of it. Is a bingo board, and this year I'm tackling it as more of a fully finish board with a few small starts sprinkled in there. So far until this month, you'll hear, I've not had any new starts called. I've only had finishes called. So this month, one of my calls was for Moonlight Kraken. And so I just finished it into this hoop. And this is by Lola Cross Stitch. She has several in this Kraken series. There's like a holiday one with little lights. There's, I think, a Valentine's Day one with a heart. I think there's a couple of other versions of this, but this is just like the base non-holiday specific piece. So yeah, I finished it in this little 4-inch hoop with some quilting fabric I had that felt appropriate, and I debated putting a hanger on it. Right now I do have one little like easel, so it's kind of sitting on the easel. I don't know what the vision is, but it's checked off the list. So this was stitched on 32 count black pearl by Steel City Stitchers, the Jody fabric that we got in a Black Needle Society box way back. And it's an opalescent, so I really like that. But anyway, so that was my first little fully finish. And then my other fully finish was related to Whip Go as well. So I had 4 of the Lindy Stitches Bird Crush birds that I had not yet fully finished into a hoop. And so I put them all separate because I wanted to make this easy for myself. You know, I don't really like to fully finish stuff So I thought, you know, 2 a month is good, just make it manageable. So I had like 4 separate squares for each of those Bird Crush finishes. And not only did I do this month's, I did the rest of them. So I'll show you one. So here's the red-faced warbler. And this one has a frame for now. So these are, if you've not seen these before on my channel, these are the Modern Hoopla 6-inch hexagon frames. And what is special about them is they are designed for embroidery hoop finishes. So yeah, this is how it is. So obviously you can, with the way that there's this like channel here, you can have it finished so it looks more hexagonal this way, or, you know, you can rotate it so that the finished piece is oriented this way, which I think is cool. So yeah, I just finished with felt into this hoop and now it has a permanent home. And quite frankly, I don't remember which were the last 4 that I finished. So I'll just show, I think these 2 are, because I started using DMC 310, and on some of the earlier ones I used like white upholstery thread. But so I think these 2 were ones that I finished. So these are fully finished in their hoops now. And then maybe this is the last one, the broad-billed hummingbird. So yeah, so now I am down to, I just have to order my last 3 hexagonal frames. So these are my 3 like homeless birds, and I still don't really know what color I want. So I'm thinking what I might do, because basically I've bought all 3 of the available colors that she sells. Maybe I'll put a picture up. So she also has white and black. And then what throws me is there's a color that's called natural, and then there's like an unfinished option. And I don't know if natural versus unfinished, I'm not sure. So I'm thinking what I might do, I would love your input. Part of me thinks maybe I should just go for the white. They look kind of good in this picture together. Or part of me thinks that I should purchase 3 unfinished hoops and then maybe pick my own wood stain and stain those separately, because it doesn't really feel like I have a cohesive 4th option. So yeah, that's kind of where those land. And I have a friend coming into town for a conference who is going to come visit while she's here. And our plan is to tackle some organization stuff I have as my projects and stash continue to grow. But also, I think we're really going to try to hang up the birds. So I really hope that in May, we will say goodbye to this succulent puzzle and we will see the full flock up there. That would be extremely exciting, but we'll see. So I cleared WhipGo for this month and cleared 3 other WhipGo spaces. So very exciting. Very exciting on that. And did I contemplate, you know, like redoing stuff, like, you know, adding different projects in there? Yes, but I'm gonna hold off for now. I'm gonna hold off. Perfect. So those are the 2 full, well, the handful of fully finishes I have to show you. Not very exciting, but checked off the list. And next up, I have a finish that is no longer with me. I did finish Green Damsel by Ink Circles for my hashtag Team Rogue Round Robin. I've mentioned this before, but I'll put a picture in since I don't have it anymore. This is now with Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. And when I filmed last, I didn't have a lot done, but I did commit. I did sit there and I think finish it that night. So was really happy with the progress, had a lot of fun stitching it, and I'm excited to do the next one, which we'll talk in plans. So that was a finish. And then next up, I had 2 finishes on my Stitch for Pride stitch along. So I will show you. So last time you saw this, I had not yet finished March. And now I finished March and April. I'm really happy with it. I'm still extremely happy with my colors. This is the, as I said, Stitch for Pride Stitch Along, hosted by D's 20 Stitches. The SAL is no longer available. It had a limited purchase window till the end of 2023. I imagine these will be available in pieces at some later date, but go follow D's 20 Stitches if you don't already, if you want to catch these at another time. So this is the March finish. This is a big sriracha bottle, if you can't tell, and very stripy sriracha bottle. So the thread I used for that was Live and Die LA's Tequila Sunrise. And I love it. I love it so much. And then I also discussed in my last video that I had received in my next round robin piece a gift from Miriam, which was a Night Stalker's Calling thread, or when I got to choose it, and I did end up using it. So this is Hocus Pocus by Night Stalker's Calling, and I think it came out perfect. And this is technically a little bit not safe for work. It is cross stitch, but technically, just a little bit of a warning here. So we'll get you in here. So these are some breasts here, and the text says, "Where do you draw the line?" So I guess I feel like I talked last time, but maybe I didn't. So this motif was inspired by Stephanie H. Shih, who is a Taiwanese American ceramicist who does a lot of sculptures related to food that is like important to the Asian diaspora, and then and her childhood home. And then this one is the Kiss and Tell Collective. It says, "Where do you draw the line?" So these are like 2 photographs. This was a kind of movement by some Canadian lesbians, Vancouver-based, and they really tried to pose the question, like, where do you draw the line between art and like explicit content, basically. They just were seeing a lot in sort of this the male photography industry that felt, explicit, and that it was exploiting women and not really honoring their sexuality. And so it was kind of this interactive exhibit where they had these photographs, and they asked people who were participating and who were there to sort of write notes. And so, they kind of encouraged, they said, you might not like these images, they might be, too much for you, but you can't argue that they shouldn't exist. So anyway, and yeah, stitching, where do you draw the line, is very kind of powerful with all the protests going on recently. I feel like I've been thinking on that question a lot in the broader context of why the heck we're trying to arrest students. But I won't get too in the weeds there. Okay, sorry, bring it back. So this is Baked Clay by Fox and Rabbit, 32 count, that I'm stitching this on, and all uncalled for colors on this project. I missed out on the KN Knitting Nurse Jasmine threads that were specially dyed for this project, but I am really happy, and I feel like I've been keeping pretty true to kind of the vibe of the original colors, in that like the called for thread for the sriracha bottle was like really stripy, kind of a continuous variegation, and the pink that was used for the called for pink for this month was much more kind of splotchy, and so I like that this one came out so splotchy. That one, it was definitely a little bit of a trust the process. I was kind of like, oh gosh, like it's so punchy compared to like the green and the Tequila Sunrise, but I think overall the effect is what I wanted. That blue on the top really anchors it, but yeah, enjoying that. Looking forward to finding out what our next month's drop is tomorrow. So yeah, I'm counting those as 2 finishes. They're completely separate motifs. But it's one project. Well, I don't know. In my Notion, I'm starting and entering them all as separate starts and finishes. So there you go. And then, lastly, where did this go? I thought I had everything. Oh, here we go. Here, I also caught up on the Celebrate All Year Stitch Along, which is from Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society. Here, let's see, I'll probably hold this up. So here it is. This is April was National Astronomy Month. So here we have kind of a loose interpretation of the order of the planets. I was kind of laughing. I was like, wait, if that's Jupiter and that's Saturn, and then I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be like Mars, and here's Earth and the Moon. I was like, wait, those are, they're stylistically located, okay? But yeah, really loved it. I am using the called for fabric on this, so the way Katie divided it, you use sort of one fabric for 3 months, so there will be 4 different fabrics that are used in total. So we've finished the blue-gray witchel that we started with, and now we're onto this navy. So the next 2 months will be on this fabric. But I actually was feeling really motivated, and I decided to stitch the bonus chart that can be found in the Nashville Needlework Cookbook. So this was a bonus chart for March, and this is National Craft Month. I freaking love this. I think it is so darling. And the little hoop and the colors. This was such an interesting stitch in that while I was stitching it, I was just kind of like, I don't know about these colors. I mean, it's the same palette, the same threads that have been called for in every month's chart. So it's not like, it's not like it's a completely different palette, but some of it, it's just like these 2 threads on their own look very more pink than red, but together, it's the tomato. I don't know. It was just very interesting to see it come together. I had moments of non-belief, and some of these yellows, like on their own, I was like, these just look too yellow. They're not going to look right, but they do. The little stork scissors look perfect. So yeah, I love this one. And this one, so this is going to be, I did note that Katie called for it on what will be like the last fabric, the October, November, December fabric, which I didn't buy the called for, but this is from my Golden Needle haul. If you saw last time, this is Fiber on a Whim Silver Fox in 32 count. So I'm set now. So this is what I'm going to use for October, November, December as well. And then I've purchased the fabric in between. So we're fully set. We're fully set on this stitch along. Obviously I haven't finished these yet. I thought maybe I would, but I've been having a little bit I feel like I've had a little bit of decision paralysis lately where I want to stitch or do something, but that I just can't quite decide what it is that I want to do. But this is living in my frog bag from the 805 stitcher that we got in our nice list box this year, with my cereal starter charm there from the Saturday morning stitching box we just got. So yeah, that was 2 more finishes. 2 more starts and finishes in the past 2 weeks. What? What? They're so small. I mean, so far all of these little maybe with the pies being the exception, those were really dense, but so far these little Celebrate All Year charts take me about 2 days. So it's really easy to talk yourself into it when you're like, it'll be done tomorrow, it'll be fine. So moving on, I don't have any starts to show that are now like works in progress. All the starts I had in the last 2 weeks, I finished. So now we will get on to the works in progress. You know them, you love them. I have been really trying to chip away at some bigger charts this year. And so you're seeing them a lot, but hopefully it's exciting progress. Wow, that little loopy. So yeah, we have Twisted Rainbow Sampler. And here, I don't know, it might be nice for me to like put a backing to this because I feel like you can really see. Is this kind of clear? Yeah, but maybe it will hopefully give the desired effects. So here we are on this band, and you can see I started a little bit. We're on to purple. We are on to purple. We broke out of the blues. I am so excited. And what is honestly even more exciting, huge milestone in the past 2 weeks, finishing this, the top half of this band here. I am sorry that I didn't like leave it down there, but we have stitched in the bottom right corner. I have touched the bottom. I have touched the butt. Finding Nemo. I have touched the butt. It is down there. And so, yeah, I'm going to do these stitches, which I was maybe going to tell you what they were called. Maybe that's of interest. I really like the row that we're on. Let me pull this out here. Okay, so this is what is in the purple that you're seeing here, and is mirrored with the blue on the other side. These are Sprat's Head corner stitches over 6. So they're very cool, very textured. And then, so these two, you know, they're kind of making like squares or diamonds. They are mirrored Sprat's Head stitches, but you can see, you know, down here, I just did them once. This square stitch in the middle is the square ray stitch over 4. And then in between the square ray stitches on the outside here is the ray stitch over 4. So yeah, now I will have these Sprat's heads, then I will have to do the square stitch, and then I will do a ray stitch again, and that will be that. Yes, I think, yes. And then we'll be back to cross stitch. So this is stitched with Dinky Dyes silk. If you're new around here, Dinky Dyes silk on a 28 count Jobelin. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, because like I said, once I finish with this specialty band, the rows get shorter, the rows get shorter. So excited. I am on target with my goals for that, so that is very exciting. And so getting to that, the purple is set for, so today is April 30th. So this coming Sunday is when like my next pass is due. So that purple section is kind of into like the following section, but I always have to check out a color change. I love to see what the new color is going to be like. And I guess I haven't shown the threads in a while. I was going to show these off. So here we go. We're on color 13 of 18. This holder actually doesn't hold them all. There's one more after this one. But yeah, so we have come a long way. There was not a lot of blues, but yeah, now we're on this kind of lavender. And we won't really be in like purple for long either. We're kind of getting this like fuchsia magenta vibe. And then our last color, if I can grab it here, is this one. Looking good, getting excited, staying excited, which is all we can really hope for. So it's very encouraging to have hit that bottom corner. It's almost 3 years in the making to get to the bottom of this dang chart. Okay, so that was that. Then next up in my incredible quilted quilt junkie bag, we have Dinosaur Forest, if you couldn't tell. which is also still seeing progress here. So here we are. I might put a picture of where it was before. I'm pretty sure since you saw it last, I worked on this top. I think I worked, yeah, because it's been 2 weeks. So I think one of those weeks I just did top border stitching. And then the second week I did this pterodactyl and a little bit more of the border. I don't want the border to languish. It's not horrible, but obviously I'm getting a little tired of it and I'm really only halfway done with it. So I try alternate weeks, and it really doesn't take much to burn up my sort of weekly goal of 181 stitches on that top border. It doesn't get you very far. But anyway, yeah, looking good. Love the little pterodactyl chipping away. We carry on. I won't say this project is like exciting me, but it is, I'm not dreading it. I'm just kind of like, all right, get it done. Luckily, 181 stitches is like such a manageable amount that it's just kind of like, oh, let me just like do it for a little bit, and then you're basically there anyway. So that's been going really well. And then next up we have the Deadly Aquarium stitch along. So this is put on by Lola Cross Stitch. I'm sure you have seen this taking Instagram by storm. I know so many people are participating in this. It's been really motivating to see people tackle this frame. This is definitely when I think like stitch alongs are the best, because I'm getting a little bogged down, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. But I have made some really good progress. So here it is. I did commit to the 40 count. And I think what is so trippy is that, you kind of put all this in and you're like, okay, it's really starting to look like we're getting close. I have barely cracked 50% on this frame. And I think what really does it is the fact that each of these columns is 5 stitches wide, and they're like, 100 something. So like each of these columns is kind of like 500 plus stitches, which really adds up. And I still need to fill in the sign. I will say, if you are thinking about the stitch along and you have not started it yet, I made a comment last time that I was like, oh, I really shoved this up in the corner, but like, oh well. I was looking at the like intro chart the other day because I had just sort of, put it in a pattern keeper and went on my way. It says in there that if you look at like the whole page chart, if you look at it like, there is a what am I trying to say? There is a part of the pattern where the entire chart is on one page. And if you look at that, this that we see is centered on there in a way that reflects stuff that will be dropped additionally. I am making this so confusing, but basically there will be other stuff. There's gonna be other stuff on this side, which is a little scary. I did count out because once I realized like, oh, the dimensions are correct, I just didn't really honor them. So the space is there. When it comes to framing, I might have to get creative, might have to add some fabric, but that's okay because I just really liked these swatches. I wanted them, so I will pay the price. But basically, yeah, it might be some really tough, tight stitching over here when whatever that is gets added, and I think there might be possibly a little bit more that goes on the top as well, which I did not read closely. So if you are looking to start, if you have not started, or if you've already started and you're not very far, take another look at that. Because yeah, she did say more might be on the outside. of the frame as we have it now. So yeah, pretty much gotta fill in the columns. I did finish all of the detailing and like shading in the top here. So I just basically need to like fill in the sign, do the posts, and then there's like water and stuff that needs to start to go in. So that is that. Oh, it just got kind of dark out there. So we carry on. I still have, you know, what, 24 days till the next drop. And I'm, yeah, about 3,000 out of 6,000 stitches in. So I think I'm on target. It's just, I want to be closer to the end than I am. Not that I'm not enjoying stitching on it. It's just like, those columns are big. Oh yeah. And I was going to say as well, since, you know, who knows? Sometimes I feel like I don't say things because I'm like, if someone's watching me, certainly they watch other people who have explained this all a million times, but you never know. So just a tip, something that really saved my sanity while counting down these columns, is I did the trick where I started at the top, I did half stitches until I got to 10, and then I would fully cross the 10th stitch. Then I would stitch 9 half stitches and then fully cross the 10th 9, you know, you get it. So that was a lot easier, especially with Pattern Keeper. I just kind of made sure that that 10th stitch lined up with the, you know, grid on Pattern Keeper. And I felt much more confident that I was correctly counting the height of these columns. So that was really good. So yeah, this is, I didn't say, 40 count eucalyptus by Atomic Ranch, 40 count linen. So really loving it. And that is all the stitching I have. I'm gonna run through a couple plans. I'm excited that maybe this actually won't be an hour, famous last words. But basically in this coming month, a lot of people participate in Stitch like Mania, a bunch of different starts in May. Last year, I took a middle of the road approach and I had one start every Saturday, which was fine. And in practice, it might kind of work out that way. But basically, I'm not really planning on like seeking out a lot of new starts. I think if anything, I was sort of looking at my goals for and like hopeful new starts for the rest of the year, and I have quite a few like bigger charts, especially by like my standard of what I stitch, that I really want to start this year. So I think maybe I will try to kind of like focus on maybe some of those medium, smaller holiday charts that I have, whether that's like Halloween or Christmas, and just kind of clear them out. Sort of like whip down before I start all these giant projects that are going to take a really long time to do. So if that is something that is exciting to you, to watch me get myself into a lot of stitchy trouble, that will be coming in the future. But that's kind of my thought for May. We'll see in practice what happens. I also have scheduled to start either tomorrow or Thursday my StitchCon Smalls exchange piece. I do have one picked out. I will probably show it when it's done, but I'll keep it on the DL for now. And then I also have a custom for a friend that I have put off forever that I think it'll take like a day or two to stitch, famous last words. So that's also kind of like, so I already have 2 starts really. And then I really have 3 starts because I did get conned into the, Arctic Friends stitch along from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, which I will show you. I did get my order in, so I'll show you that in a moment. And lastly, I also need to start my Team Rogue Round Robin. So realistically, there you go. I have 1 new start a week. That's already pretty much covered. So I'm gonna stick to my 1 new start a week, I guess, because that's 4 planned starts. So love that for me. yeah, and then lastly, I have a little bit of, kind of haul acquisitions, giveaway wins, and I have one game that is stitching related. So if you usually are not interested in the video games, maybe you'll be interested in this one. So let's get into it. So really quick, I wanted to show that the Golden Familiars, which was a brand that I had heard literally nothing about until like last month, and then now everyone's been a fan and I've been sleeping on them, so my bad. But the Golden Familiars are a shop that make bags and cross-stitch accessories like grime guards, and she has these very cool kind of like cases. If you've ever watched like Cross Stitch the Globe, they just got some, and I think Chinook Crafter just ordered a custom. I've seen very cool. They're kind of more of that like Project Keeper style. They sort of close from a button. They like fold open and close as opposed to like a zippered bag. I'm sure I probably put a picture in by this point. So they seem really cool. I don't own one yet, maybe one day, but their Instagram account just hit 1,000 subscribers and they had a giveaway, which I entered, and so I won. And I won this needle minder, which maybe you need to not see my face, this freaking cracks me up. So yeah, we got our skull with, all the things that we're all thinking about all day, right? So like scissors, needle, floss, fabric, hoop, chart. And then if you could tell, it says frog, and the frog is crossed out in red. So yeah, this is the Golden Familiars. This is their logo. We love the branding based after pets. So that was really fun. I also won another giveaway. I've been on a streak. From the Hathaway Stitchers. In the last 2 weeks, I finally got on board the Hathaway Stitchers bandwagon. I know everybody's been shouting them out. Everybody's been loving them. Amity and Aaron are hysterical. They are worth all the hype. They are deserving of all the hype. So binged all their videos and was like caught up to the 4th one, and they had a giveaway and I won that too. Crazy. So I won the Great White Christmas chart that Amity charted. So that is her Instagram, and her like design Etsy store is under Boomerang Stitches. And so yeah, I won a Boomerang Stitches original. So big charts I want to start that are seasonal. Would love to start this one later this year as a big Christmas project. So I'll be keeping an eye out for the right fabric and floss combo for this, but love the chart. Love it so much. It's so good. And if you've somehow missed hearing about the Hathaway Stitchers, certainly go check them out. I will link them. And then lastly, I want to show a little Stitchy kindness real quick of sorts. So if you have been here since or for a little bit, if you watched my nice list unboxing over the holidays, I mentioned when we got a wallet in there that I had coveted this wallet that was given in like a really old Black Needle Society box before I knew about it. And Athena of Stitching Goddess Designs was like, oh, you can have mine. And she sent that along. So it says, I'd rather be buying cross stitch. I love it. The little pink zipper. And so yeah, it's a nice wallet. She threw some stickers in there for me. So this just came yesterday. I'm so thrilled about it. So thank you, Athena. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Okay. So back to Arctic Animals. I hypothetically, the fabric I chose was supposed to arrive today, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'll give you a mail update for those of you that are interested in a little bit, but I did go for, I ended up purchasing, so I thought this was kind of cool. The Frosted Pumpkins are experimenting with this stitch along with sort of different SAL purchasing options. Of course, you can always just buy the PDF. You don't have to buy anything else. But they had some different kind of options. So they had full kits, which were all the thread, the fabric, and all of their like accoutrement, all their fancy, you know, little stickers and stuff. They had a mini pack, which was everything except the DMC, which I think is such a great option because so many people, we all have huge DMC collections. And then they had just like the extras pack, which is what I ended up going for. So the extras pack came with they have like a floss card that I can punch for threading my threads on. And then they had 3 little holographic stickers. Arctic Adventurer. Yep, Arctic Adventurer. This polar bear. Arctic animals are really, like, polar bears are like a top favorite animal for me. Anyway. And then this sticker was specifically the reason I was like, I must buy this. This is actually a sun catcher sticker. You're not gonna be able to tell, but when the backing comes off of this, it is clear and it will reflect, like, it will cast rainbows and stuff. So it's like a window sticker. So it says a cross stitcher lives here. I love this. I love this so much. So then I separately bought, because this Sal is all DMC except for one, and that is this glow in the dark petite treasure braid. So I went ahead and ordered that as well. And then I did go ahead and go crazy and I got the narwhal scissor fob, as well as the needle minder for this Sal. The puffins use like a telescope. I'm sick. I will go ahead and show. So I was not inspired by the fabric that the pumpkins chose, which is, you know, it happens. So, because to me, I'm thinking like if it's a dark fabric, we're seeing, you know, telescope themes, it's looking night sky, it's giving aurora borealis, right? Like we're seeing lots of star theming. I felt it needed to be an opalescent. I felt personally it had to be an opalescent. So I was shopping around and was not really finding anything that I really loved. And then I did find a piece that I loved, but it was gonna be a dye to order, which if anyone's bought hand-dyed fabrics, you know that can take a long time. So I was sort of nervous, but I was at peace that I was like, you know what, if I start late, I start late. I would rather it be on a fabric I'm really excited about, but it's already shipped. It's already shipped. So I ordered Hamlet from Under the Sea Fabrics, but this photo is not opalescent. I did order it in opalescent. So fingers crossed that gets here sometime. Okay, and then the last thing, but not the least, possibly the most exciting thing, is I finally got my hands on a Dee and Kari spring fling box. This is the 3rd year they have put out this box, and the 1st year I have been able to get my hands on it. And boy howdy, am I excited about it. So we're gonna go through this box really quickly. I think this is a great example if you're someone who is like looking around for, you know, different, if you're just browsing, curious about boxes, this one is great in that you're not getting a whole lot of extras. It's extremely stitchy focused, and there's an event with it, which is really fun. So I think you get a lot of, you know, extra value out of that. So the theme for this was medieval cats, Cat Quest. This is the art, Kari's art that inspired the box this year. And I mean, is that not my son? If you've not seen, he's not made an appearance on camera in quite a while. I might have to like forcibly go get him. I think he's just sort of trained to walk away when I'm talking to myself. That sounds worse than I meant to. But I have a orange cat named Fozzie, and he is a big orange, very Garfield shaped. And he reminds me of that cat a lot. Also, shout out, I saved this just to show it. Everything was wrapped in paper napkins. We love sustainability. Yeah, so let me show you. So there were some stickers that came of our little adventurers. The little kitties. Sorry, I guess I could have done more of a spoiler for this. I'm so sorry. But yeah, there we go. I haven't shown anything too crazy yet, I don't think. I did show the art. My bad. I'm really sorry. I will maybe put like, maybe I will have put something more substantial that y'all are seeing. And then this was exciting. I don't have, one like small piece of feedback is it would be nice if there was like an inventory card maybe. But okay, so this is Algae Ross Fabric and Floss that provided the fabric and the threads. So here is our fabric. This is, I believe, tea-dyed. And the colorway is Manuscript, and this is an 18 count Aida. I have been accepting Aida more into my heart recently, and honestly, this was like the last box. This was the only box available, and I was like, heck yeah. So love 18 count. You can see a little bit of that modeling on there. So yeah, we got our Manuscript fabric. And then over top, I will show you the threads we got. So this is Lancelot, All Knights, Galahad, the pink, Percival, and Gawain. Love it. Amazing. And we did get some coordinating thread drops. Love that. We got a pair of scissors. These are really pretty. As well as a little cat head with some counting pins. Love that little felt cat head. As well as a regular needle in the middle. We did get a needle minder, of course, coordinating needle minder on this amazing paper. And last but not least, here we go. This is the chart. Cat Quest. I love it's so I really don't have words for what this makes me feel. I think it's just like it's such a weirdly unexpectedly nostalgic colorway. Like I don't know. Is it just because like is this like what like girls' toys come in? It's like for me it really makes me think of like the board game Pretty Pretty Princess. Did anybody play that? An iconic game where you are getting dressed in your princess garb. You put like earrings and a necklace and a ring on and you try to get the crown at the end. My dad, I remember, was always cutting up playing Pretty Pretty Princess because they were little like clip earrings. Obviously they were not real earrings. He would like put them on his nose or like his eyebrow. He was never wearing those earrings right. But I don't know, that's what this makes me think of. So I really do feel like this is a potential start, and this is one, it looks fine, right? You're like, oh cute, medium. It's 123 by 171. So on 18 count, that's like 6.5 or 6.8 by 9.5. So it's a little more than it looks. Not huge, but big enough. Big enough. So I was really happy about that, and I really hope that I will be available for the video call to participate in that. But yeah, that is everything I have to show you. I will get the cookbook mailed out, and oh yeah, for anyone who's like up on the mail situation, because I think this is honestly something that's impacting everybody, but it's just kind of, I think I'm in a hot spot particularly. So mail does continue to come, but what was super interesting is I was actually watching a congressional hearing that they had with the Postmaster General of Georgia in DC. I think it was like a week or two ago now. And John Ossoff, who is one of our senators, was there, and there's a great clip of him. If nothing else, you should go look this clip up, where he is just kind of like, so first he asked like what % of outbound first class mail arrives on time. So that is, you know, things that are tracked first class mail. So it has tracking. Not all mail is that way, right? But like of tracked mail, arrives on time outbound out of Atlanta. And he said like 67%. And then he goes, what percent? He goes, so what do you think the percent of inbound, so my mail, right? What percent of inbound first class mail arrives on time? And he's like, oh, the number's probably a lot lower. And he's like, do you want to guess? And the postmaster was like, 35%. He was like, yep, 36%. 36% of inbound first class mail arrives on time in Metro. Holy moly. So then he was kind of asking him, you know, like what caused this problem. So I have some more concrete numbers that they went from 11 distribution facilities servicing, I think, the Metro Atlanta area to 3. My goodness. And he gave at that time, which mind you, this is April, this change happened in late February, I want to say. He said it would take another 60 days to get things back to where they were, which I am really curious what that percentage was prior to this switch, because I can't imagine they went from like 98% on time to 35%. Like, I'm sure it wasn't like a dazzling number to begin with, but anyway. So I really need to just give up like mail tracking, I think. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I can't, because things may, you know, take a month to get here and I won't notice. But yeah, I think what's like frustrating is that things will say that they're going to be, you know, out for delivery, and then they will just kind of like poof, and they won't get scanned for days. And then suddenly they'll just like be on your doorstep. So that is what really stresses me out. Like, I think, you know, when it's kind of doing the loop-de-loop in and out of the main distribution center that my mail seems to go through, if it gets scanned in and out, like, that's annoying, but at least I'm seeing it scanned. You know, I'm like, somebody has eyes and hands on this product, right? On this package. So it's been really interesting. And I feel like part of the reason, so I had heard from my local post office, right, that they had a lot of people walk out on the job. And now that makes even more sense, thinking about, like, you know, if you worked at one of these facilities and maybe you worked on like the north side of Atlanta or like east or west, the like Palmetto distribution center, which is the main one that is like causing the issue, is south of the city significantly, like in a non-Metro Atlanta county. Like, Metro Atlanta is comprised of like DeKalb and Fulton counties primarily, and then maybe like, you know, Gwinnett and Cobb to the north, if you want to count those. But I feel like at the core, it's like Fulton and DeKalb. And this is in Coweta. Part of it is in Coweta. It's like south of the city. So I can't imagine, yeah, you've been like working at a distribution facility and they're like, not only are we closing this, but now you have to commute, which, like, I'm very sensitive to that drive because my partner, he worked in Coweta County for a while and was commuting out there. He had like a really long commute, and it's no fun. So I'm very sympathetic to people who are like having to drive across the city possibly now. Like, no wonder they walked out. So, and then all of that to say, my work update. So we have been fully remote since 2020. And I mean, there have been a lot of signs that this was coming, but it's still unfortunate to see that we are getting tasked with some more return to office stuff. So we are now going to be required to come in like 2 days a pay period, which is 2 weeks. So that averages out to like 1 day a week, which is not that bad. And if you are someone who has had to go in the whole time and you're rolling your eyes at me, I hear you, I understand you. I like working from home. I have really come to enjoy the lifestyle. So that is unfortunate to hear. I'm not thrilled about it. I am hoping that if they are gonna like hold up any facade that they still want to prioritize flexibility, that those days can be maybe like movable. You know, if it's like, oh, I can, you know, maybe sometimes I do like 1 day a week, but then maybe sometimes I do, you know, a Monday, Tuesday, and then you don't see me for 2 weeks, right? So anyway, it'll be a couple of months before that's like fully in effect. And I think what's more upsetting than the thought of going in one day a week is that it just feels like they're like reeling the line in, right? You know, it just feels like, okay, they're gonna force this, and then it feels like maybe next year it'll be like, now we want 4 days of pay period. Now we want, you know, it just feels like we're climbing back to sort of pre-COVID procedures, and there is no reason for that. We've made it 4 years. And it is kind of funny the way that they send emails that'll be like, we know everyone's reporting that it's like the most productive you've been and the happiest you've been, but come on in. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, this one got kind of spicy, but that is, I was actually just watching Chandria this morning, and she was talking about, you know, sharing more of her kind of personal life, because, you know, that's sort of the best part of Flosstube, right? Is the community you build. And so if you don't like put part of yourself out there, then how do people know stuff about you? It is cool to, you know, of course we care about the stitching, but we also care about each other a lot, I find. So, yeah, those are some musings from me that no one asked for. But yeah, okay, lastly, quick game. Let's end it on a high note. We are gonna hit an hour. I don't know why I tell myself these things. Nintendo Switch just launched a game called Stitch. And it is a like embroidery based game, and I'm gonna see if I can get fancy enough to maybe have, like, as opposed to pictures, maybe some like gameplay footage embedded, because it's hard to describe, but it is a puzzle game. It is like a super relaxing, like turn your brain off type puzzle game. If puzzles relax you, maybe that's not your thing, but I obviously just like wanted to buy it just to support this type of content, right? I loved it. So it's like a husband-wife duo, I think, that are behind the developers, and the wife likes embroidery, and, you know, it's like you know, this is a mutual interest between them. So yeah, you're basically like filling out embroidered images using this little puzzle method that hopefully you're seeing. And yeah, like I said, it's just super relaxing. I find it super relaxing, and just like, and it's one that really benefits from like the touch screen on the Switch. I don't use the controllers at all. It would make an insanely good mobile game as well, but I think right now it's a Switch exclusive. But what is funny, and I would love if anyone plays this to comment below, but as a stitcher, I do think it is a little bit funny that, you know, they were like, we got all this input from my wife, who's like a big stitcher, and blah, 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 blah. And there's like little detail, like it looks good, but then there's like little things. So one thing is that when you're really zoomed in there, which maybe you're seeing this, it looks like it's linen, but it's like on the bias. I don't know, like the linen looks like X's, you know, the warp and the weft, like we always look at them, you know, like plus signs, right? And it's like this, which on the one hand, I'm like, I guess technically you could stitch on the bias. What happens if you cross stitch on the bias? I don't know. But yeah, they're like stitching on the bias of the fabric, which is just kind of, it's like a small detail, doesn't really distract me or anything, but I just thought that was kind of funny. And then additionally, the stitches look kind of like, and maybe it's something they'll add in the future, but if they really are coming from an embroidery perspective, these could have a lot of different looks to them, and they really only seem to kind of have like 2 textures for the stitches. So one looks kind of like a satin stitch to me, and the other one, I guess, is also sort of a satin stitch that looks kind of more braided in the middle, but it almost looks like knitting in some aspects to me. But anyway, these are super tiny details. I think they're pretty small developers, so I like, in no way am I trying to like bag on them and say that they, you know, messed up, but it is funny as someone who is up close and personal with these types of materials, to to see how they chose to illustrate this stuff. But like I said, super fun. It just has like, I mean, you could like watch, listen to, it's a great like, I need two things going at the same time type of game. You know, I feel like you could listen to an audiobook, you could listen to a podcast or something like while doing this. It doesn't take, even though it looks like numbers and it's hard, it's fine. And some of them are really, really big and will take, you know, I spend multiple days working on filling in these pictures. So anyway, that is what I've been playing. I have not been playing all that much because I have been, hopefully you could tell, like swamped trying to catch up on all these dang stitch-alongs. So yeah, I don't know how we are up to 4 stitch-alongs for me this year, but there she goes. So with that, I think I have certainly talked your ear off enough this episode, and I'm liking the cadence of 2 weeks. We'll see how that goes moving forward, but I'm liking it so far. Hope you are all well and you have time to stitch. I like that the Hathaway stitchers say that too. She goes, I hope you have time to stitch today. I want to steal it, but I won't steal it. But yeah, hope you have had some good stitchy time. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the last of the like slightly non-miserable hot weather if you're in the south here, because I feel it coming. I feel it coming. So yes, okay. Have a great one. I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.